Hi, Virgo. I'm very drawn to you lately, and I feel that's because Spirit really is in a point of wanting to support you into this new way of existing within your own energy. You know, there's a phrase that I love once from a book that I read many years ago, and it says, we live in the atmosphere of our own beliefs. And certainly metaphysically, from an energetic perspective, that's what I believe to be true. And what I'm feeling this time, as I was starting to read for you, I was getting, again, a beautiful, smooth energy. And I went back and looked at what your reading was from last week. I didn't listen to it, but I saw the sign and I read the caption that I made. Oh, perfect. And what I was getting this time was a song, an older song, and it's called Ferry Cross the Mersey. And it's from 1965. I looked it up, Gary and the Pacemakers, and it's a beautiful flowing song. The essence of the song is that it's actually literally, they say, a love song to Liverpool, which is where they were from. And it was about being home and being ferry across the Mersey to the place that I love, and here I'll stay. That's the key phrase that really strikes me about this. It goes on to talk about, in this place, you know, people don't care what your name is, they still smile. But the energy of the song is so gentle, I really encourage you to look it up. Ferry, F-E-R-R-Y, cross the Mersey, M-E-R-S-E-Y. It's a beautiful, beautiful song, and it really carries the energy of what I'm feeling for you, which is that this is about finding home. This is about you finally settling in a place where you feel as though you really belong, and not just where you belong externally, but where you have found a place within yourself where you belong. And that, I think, goes along perfectly with what the whole message of receiving love and being in loving relationships is about, is that when we can really appreciate being at home in our own skins, when we feel that comfort of being well within ourselves, that is usually where we find ourselves in the right place at the right time in the right relationship. And if not immediately, then certainly more within our imagination and more within our perception of what's possible. Virgo, it's really interesting for me, you know, because you are an earth sign. So one would think that you would be the kind of people who would ground yourselves and find a place geographically. And yet so many of the Virgos I know are ones who have not. They have traveled a lot. They have moved around. They have struggled in some ways to find the place, the person, the job, the profession, the calling, the faith that connects them to that deeper part of themselves. It's like there's often a searching that you do that takes you places into different things, professions, relationships, geographical locations, because you're looking for that inner peace. You're looking for that connection to yourself, to that deeper part of yourself. And what you're being asked to look at now is, I'm just hearing that music again, and that energy of peace, that peacefulness that goes along with it. And what I feel you're being encouraged to do here as a way to move towards embracing, embodying within yourself that quality of love and peace, as a way to experience it coming to you from other people, is that you take the time to look at some of the patterns that you've had around love, to really go back a little bit, not to reiterate the story. It's about letting go of the story. It's about being able to identify from a neutral position if there's any story, if there's any repeated themes or patterns that have been holding you back, that have been kept you locked into a structure where you're not allowing yourself. That sounds like you're doing it deliberately, and I don't mean it that way. Let me put it this way. What Spirit is saying is that without meaning to, sometimes what we can do is we can create a structure around us that's based on a personality we have and the way we identify ourselves to be. And that by living within that structure and not questioning the patterns of action, behavior, and thought within that personality structure, we can actually limit our progression towards greater things beyond the structure we've created. So you are being asked to look at what kind of structure have you created for yourself? Thank you. Where have you limited your perception of yourself and your personality? Now, I believe they've talked about limiting thoughts before with you, but I'm not sure. So I'm just going to go forward, and if it's a repetition, then let's take it as something that you need to be reminded of, or some of you may need to be reminded of, because, of course, it's never for the whole collective. This is for the week of July 14th, or whenever it resonates. That being said, now let's get back to this. You're being asked to really identify aspects of your personality that are no longer serving you, that are keeping you in limited perceptions of yourself, that are keeping you in belief structures, that are holding you back from actually believing you are able to have that sense of belonging, that sense of self-acceptance, which allows you to feel at home wherever you go. And that sense of love for yourself that then opens your energy to be able to receive it from other people. And now please keep in mind that when you receive it from other people, because you've opened your own heart to it, what it means now is you're going to get the kind of love that is based in heart and not in personality. So what does that mean? That means you're not going to be going after love or accepting love that is based on what looks good or what is expected. You will be receiving, attracting the kind of love that is based on a compassionate love. Now, what's a compassionate love? A compassionate love is a higher love. It's a love that's based in respect, in reciprocity, in an equitable use of a power dynamic, so that nobody is manipulating, nobody is trying to take more than they give. It's based in, I would say, to simplify it, in an emotional intelligence that is based on mutual respect, mutual love that is about each other being able to be genuinely who they are and supporting growth and expansion in whatever way that is. And it can be romance, it can be friendship, it can be in many different ways. But I really feel you've got patterns here, and you've got past, present, future. You've got to look at the structure and where is it too tight for you now? Where can you extend beyond that? You've got neutrality and prayerfully. So this says to me, do this without judgment. Do this without attaching to the story of it. That's super important. You want to look at the themes, not any one particular story, but by looking at the patterns and seeing the themes, you get to understand it as an expression of yourself and how you've lived your life. And that's where you get to identify where the structure limits you and where you can move beyond. Virgo, this is actually, I feel, a really, I'm getting shivers now. This for me is a reading that takes you to that next level of love. It includes romantic love for sure, but it's really guiding you towards that sense of self-love and that coming home to yourself, that coming home to your part of self, to that part of yourself that is connected to your soul, connected to your higher conscious mind, and that has the capacity to make up for anything you've ever lost, anything you've ever missed out on. And that it's not something that you have to struggle to do. It is something that you're being guided towards to look at in order so that you can just let yourself soften into that place in yourself that goes beyond conflicting beliefs, conflicting thoughts, okay? Now, for some of you, this might mean going back and dealing with some old trauma. For some of you, it's going to be just checking into what has become habitual and giving yourself the opportunity to think beyond it. I feel as though this is really a time where we all get to really take whatever it feels like disruption in our lives and use it as a way to say, okay, this disruption is coming in. Where does it get to liberate me? And Virgo, you're being asked to really do your very best as you're looking back over some of these old patterns. Be neutral so that you don't attach to the story of it. Be mindful that your aim is to stay away from a limiting dialogue about what you're finding, what you're determining, and to really take a prayerful attitude towards it. So what's a prayerful attitude? Well, it can mean literally praying for help. It can mean simply maintaining the idea that there is a higher loving power that is guiding you and is there to help you move through and move beyond. Because when we look at divine love is all about forgiveness. It's because there's nothing to forgive. It's about acceptance. It's about wanting to give you the best and for you to experience the best. So this is you being able to move beyond whatever human limiting thoughts you have in order to let divine love really embrace you and move you into the kind of mindset and the kind of energy and the kind of heart space and heart connection that brings you into that place of belonging with yourself and therefore with places and people. Okay? That's it, Virgo. Much love. Take care.